Okay, we're going to continue on in the Apocrypha. This is the Wisdom of Sirach, chapter 18, verse 23. Prepare yourself before you make a vow, and do not be like a man who tests the Lord. Think of his wrath in later days, and the time of vengeance, when he turns away his face. Remember the time of famine and the time of plenty, poverty and want in the days of wealth. Between morning and evening, the situation changes, and it all passes swiftly in the sight of the Lord. A wise man is always reverent, and in days of sin, he is careful not to offend. Every man of understanding recognizes wisdom and will thank the man who finds her. Men skilled in the use of words compose cleverly themselves and pour forth apt proverbs. Do not follow your impulses, but restrain your longings. If you give absent to the impulse of your heart, it will make you a laughing stock to your enemies. Do not indulge in too much luxury. Do not be tied to its expense. Do not be impoverished from feasting on borrowed money when you have nothing in your purse. A workman who is a drunkard will never get rich. A man who despises little things will gradually fail. Wine and women will make men of understanding stand aloof, and a man who is devoted to prostitutes is reckless. Worms and decay will eventually possess him, and the rash soul will be destroyed. The man who trusts people quickly is light-minded, and he who sins offends against his own soul. The man who is merry of heart will be condemned, and he who hates loquacity has the less malice. If you never repeat what you are told, you will fare none the worse. Before men or foe, do not recount it. And unless it would be sinful of you, do not reveal it. For someone has heard you and watched you. And when the time comes, he will hate you. If you hear something said, let it die with you. Have courage. It will not make you bust. A fool to express a thought suffers such pains as a woman in childbirth suffers to bear a child. Like an arrow sticking in the flesh of the thigh, it is a word in the heart of a fool. Question a friend. Perhaps he did not do it. Or if he did, so perhaps he did not say it. Or if he did, so that he may not repeat it. Question a friend, for often there is slander. And you must not believe everything that is said. A man may slip without intending to. Who has not sinned with his tongue? Question your neighbor and him, and leave room for the law of the Most High. The fear of the Lord is the sum of wisdom, and in all wisdom the law is fulfilled. The knowledge of wickedness is not wisdom, and where the counsel of sinners is, there is no understanding. There is a cunning that is detestable, And there is a foolish man who is only deficient in wisdom, a man who is inferior in understanding, but fears God is better than one who abounds in prejudice, but transgresses the law. There is an exact kind of shrewdness that is wrong, and there is a man who acts to gain a judgment. There is a kind of villain that bends mournfully, but inwardly is full of deceit. He covers his face and pretends to be deaf, but when no one is looking, he will take advantage of you. And for lack of strength, he may be prevented from sinning. And he finds an opportunity, he will do you harm. And a man is known by his appearance, and an intelligent man can be told by the expression of his face. A man's clothes and a broad smile and the way he walks tell you what he is. There is a rebuke that is uncalled for, and a time when the man who keeps silent is wise. How much better it is to rebuke someone than to get angry. For the man who makes full confession will be kept from failure, like a eunuch's craving to a ravished girl is the man who would do right by violence. One man keeps silence and is considered wise, while another is hated for his loquacity. One man keeps silence because he has nothing to say, and another keeps silence because he knows it is the time for it. A wise man will keep silence till his time comes, but a boaster and a fool miss the fitting time. The man who talks excessively is detested, and he who takes it on himself to speak is hated. There are advantages that come to a man in adversity, and there are gains that result in loss. There are gifts that will do you no good, and there are gifts that are returned doubled. There are humiliations for the sake of gaining glory, and there are men who rise from low conditions. One man buys much for little, and yet pays for it 7 times over. A man who speaks wisely makes himself beloved, but the pleasant speeches of fools are thrown away. A present from a fool will do you no good, for his eyes are not one but many. He gives little but finds a great deal of fault, and opens his mouth like a town crier. He will lend today and ask it back tomorrow. Such a man is hateful. The fool says, I have not got a friend, and I get no thanks for my good deeds. Those who eat his bread are evil-tongued. How many will laugh at him, and how often? A slip on the ground is better than a slip of the tongue. So the fall of the wicked will come quickly. A disagreeable man and an unseasonable story, they will both be constantly on the lips of the uneducated. A proverb on the lips of a fool will be refused, for he will not utter it at the proper time. One man is kept from sinning through poverty, so his conscience does not prick him when he goes